Hello, I just want to give you guys a quick 5 or 6 minute tour of our machine shop so that you kind of have a rough idea of some of the equipment that exists in one. Now, before I show you our machine shop, just know that this is a tiny slice of the pie of manufacturing. Manufacturing encompasses a lot of different types of processes. Ours is generally milling machines. We have some turning machines like lathes. We have belt sanders. We have some manual tools. We have some 3D printers. But again, that's just a small, tiny slice of the pie of manufacturing. There's also others like EDM, electrical discharge machining, and forging and casting and injection molding and lasering and water jetting. And there's all types that we just don't currently have here. But our machine shop, for its purposes and for the labs that we teach here, it does just fine. So as we move here to our vertical machining center, this is our vertical machining center that has a 21 tool changer that allows it to change tools automatically. Some of the tools are in this cart over here. These are end mills and drills and face mills. You'll learn more about that stuff a little bit later. A lot of you probably already know what a drill press is, but here's a typical drill press that we use just to put in drills and drill holes. There's no table movement other than just sliding it around, but it's one of those machines that is essential in a general machine shop. Over here, we have our Tormach machines. These are regular mills. The milling machines are just like the one I showed you, except these don't have tool changers on them. You change the tools manually. Over here, we have a knee mill. A knee mill is a manual mill, and you'll find in the student machine shop that we have 2 of these knee mills, and we have 1 CNC mill in there. So these are essential machines to every machine shop that's out there. They're really good workhorses. Besides the fact that they can just do standard drilling like a drill press, they also have the capability of moving the tables in the x-axis, the y-axis here. It has a knee. This is called a knee mill down here. This is the knee portion right here that moves the table upward and downward. And in combination with those 3 movements, we also can rotate the head of the mill left to right. We can tilt it forward and back. We can also rotate it about its column so it can rotate over the table and come inward and outward as well. So you can get some complex setups on a knee mill, absolutely. One of the things I want to teach you guys real quick is the right-hand rule. You'll be actually quizzed on this later on in the semester, so you'll want to pay attention to this. So the right-hand rule allows us to figure out what axes are which on any machine in the world, and we do that simply by using our right hand. Our thumb is always going to be depicted as the X positive axis. The index finger is your Y positive axis, and your middle finger is going to be your Z positive. And what you do in order to orient your right hand onto any machine is to point your middle finger, the Z axis, up at the turning spindle like I'm doing here. In this case, when this tool, the tool itself, when we're driving that end mill to the right, that's X positive. When the end mill is moving away from us, the tool is moving away from us, that is Y positive, and the tool is moving up, that's Z positive. So it's very simple to determine on any machine which axis is which. And on the quiz itself, you'll be asked a question like maybe a scenario based where the cutter's coming at you and you have to depict which way it's moving, or I might just ask you which finger represents which axis. We also have some rapid prototyping, that's additive manufacturing. In our machine shop, we have the MakerBot printers that you're probably familiar with. We also have a ProJet printer, which is a very, very nice printer. We offer those services. We do charge for the services that we do here as a center, and we won't be using any of those in level 1. But they are available for you if you need printing done. We can quote the printing for you. Moving right along here, we have belt sanders. We have a couple of belt sanders. We're going to use those as a deburring device. That's going to deburring is the removal of sharp edges. We also have a couple of saws here. This is one of the bandsaws that we talked about. This is called a bandsaw because the actual blade goes all the way down and around. It's a very long blade, and it allows us to cut hard materials like hard plastics, aluminum, steels. We also have on this side of the room is our turning side. So you'll see a few machines going down the row here. This is a lathe, and on a lathe is different than a mill. On a mill, we take our part, we put it in a fixture or a vise, and it's stationary. We then drive the cutter from point A to point B in either an arc or circle or line. We can make grooves and circles and squares and pockets. and we can trim things on angles if we like. But on a lathe, the opposite happens. This spindle is called a chuck, and the chuck is what's holding your part. So your part is what's spinning around, and the tools are stationary, and therefore you're only going to be able to produce round shapes like diameters and bores and grooves and threads. So table legs and baseball bats and things of that nature, that's what you can produce on a lathe. We also have a couple of CNC lathes. These we use in level 2 classes, if you ever take level 2 with us. Some more belt sanders down over on this side. And then we have our array of just regular hand tools like hammers, screwdrivers, files, and so on. We have our student workstations. We use this here. They have Mastercam CAD-CAMs software loaded on them. That's something that we use in level 1. You'll be using it as well to develop your CNC programs. And those programs are then we typically will test on the workstations rather, before we load them into the machine and actually cut material. So that's really our machine shop in a nutshell. Just wanted to give you guys a tour. Hope you're not getting dizzy here. I'm kind of spinning around just so you can kind of see the whole shop. I'll go a little bit slower maybe. And there it is. Hope you enjoyed the tour.